Mr. President.
The senator from New Jersey.
Mr. President, 11 years ago tomorrow, our nation and the Newtown, Connecticut community experienced one of the deadliest school shootings in American history. Horror ripped through our hearts as we heard the news. 20 first-grade students and 6 teachers and staff members gunned down in cold blood inside of Sandy Hook Elementary School. 20 first graders who right now should be high school seniors, relishing special moments and milestones with their friends. They should be finishing their college application, taking their driver's tests, and getting measured for their caps and gowns. Their families should be watching them flourish as they become young adults, embarking on all the world has to offer. Instead, their lives cruelly cut short, and their family members will never be whole again. Adults who tried desperately to protect their students, albeit in vain, from the Goliath force of an AR-15 style gun. 11 years ago, we grieved with families, we cried and we prayed. 11 years ago, we said, never, never again would we let this happen. Instead, it has happened again and again, over and over. Parkland, Santa Fe, Michigan State, University of UNLV, Uvalde. The scenes from Robb Elementary School, where 19 students, mostly 3rd and 4th graders, and their 2 beloved teachers were gunned down with an assault weapon last year, could not have been more reminiscent of Sandy Hook. The innocent lives wiped out in a spree of mindless violence. All of this happening again right before our very eyes, 10 years after Sandy Hook. This weekend in my home state, we just commemorated the 4th anniversary of an anti-Semitic shooting in Jersey City, where 2 hateful gunmen took the life of a Jersey City detective before they rampaged through the Jersey City kosher supermarket, taking 3 more innocent lives. Among the 5 weapons the shooters were armed with was an AR-15 style assault weapon. According to the Washington Post's database, 2023 has seen more mass shootings, 39, than any year since 2006, when they first began tracking shootings with 4 or more deaths. Monterey, California, Nashville, Tennessee, El Paso, Texas, Lewiston, Maine. We are the only civilized nation on earth where innocent human beings are routinely murdered in mass shootings. Is this what it really means to be an American? It cannot be. I met last week with members of the Newtown Action Alliance, survivors of gun violence, who shared their heartbreaking stories of grief and trauma. Their message was simple: when will enough be enough? 11 years since Sandy Hook, and yet barely any progress has been made. Even Ethan's Law, a common-sense bill I co-sponsored, and which simply requires safe and reasonable and responsible gun storage, is opposed by most congressional Republicans. This should be a no-brainer. Tiffany Starr, a gun violence survivor in proud New Jersey, and told me about how her father was killed in 1994 when her sister's abusive ex-boyfriend shot his way into their home looking for her. Their father pushed her sister out of the way and was shot himself, giving his wife and daughters just enough time to run and hide in a neighbor's house. She is now older than her father ever got the chance to be. Jackie Haggerty shared how she survived the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting when she was only 7 years old. Now 18, she continues to bravely share her story and advocate for gun safety legislation. She broke down in tears during our meeting, describing the sheer horror and trauma of seeing her friends and teachers destroyed bodies in the hallways of Sandy Hook. She told me how all she wants for Christmas is to know that she won't get shot. Let me repeat that. A young woman in America is praying she won't get shot, which is what she hopes for Christmas. Only in America do we live like this. Do we let families and whole communities drown in the grief of mass shootings for the benefit of the gun lobby and the gun industry? Only in America are guns the #1 killer of young people. Only in America do we pray, grieve, and move on until the next Uvalde or the next Lewiston. Guns, especially assault weapons equipped with high-capacity magazines, do not belong in our communities. High-capacity magazines, from my view, is about high-capacity killing, not about hunting. They do not belong in our supermarkets and movie theaters, our houses of worship, our restaurants, or on bowling alleys. They don't belong on our streets. These are weapons of war meant for high-capacity killing. And those who seek to kill Americans with such weapons do not have any greater rights to bear arms than our nation's children and communities have a right to live. Just last week, Majority Leader Schumer came to the floor with the hope of reintroducing the assault weapons ban. He was swiftly blocked by Republicans. Senator Murphy followed by asking for a unanimous consent vote for universal background checks, which also met Republican resistance. Now, while I'm proud to have supported the bipartisan Safer Communities Act, which became law last year, and which contained important gun safety measures, we must do more. That was simply the first step in the right direction. There are more measures we can and must enact. I believe we have to reinstate the assault weapons ban, and we must establish universal background checks for the sale of all firearms. A poll by Fox News conducted in April of this year found that a majority of all American voters, 61%, support an assault weapon ban. That includes Republican voters. If there's 61% support among Americans for an assault weapon ban, there should be 60 votes for it here in the Senate. A June 2022 Gallup poll also found that an overwhelming 92% of Americans favor requiring background checks for all firearm sales. With that level of near unanimous support, background checks for all firearm sales should be able to pass out of this chamber by unanimous consent. And did the assault weapons ban have a positive impact when it existed? Well, a 2018 study by NYU Langone medical faculty showed that during the 10 years that the assault weapons ban was in place, mass shooting-related deaths were 70% less likely to occur. That is countless lives saved, countless funerals avoided, and countless families spared from bottomless grief. I want to be clear. We have solutions supported by the majority of Americans to end the epidemic of gun violence in our country. We just need our Republican colleagues to join the rest of us. We need Republicans to take their NRA blindfolds off and open their eyes to the realities we all face together. After the horrific mass shootings in Lewiston, Maine, Congressman Jared Golden reversed his position and now supports an assault weapon ban. I'm glad that he has seen the light. But it should not take the death of 18 people in a community terrorized for this type of awakening. Every single member of Congress should join Congressman Golden, put politics aside, and put the American people first. We owe it to those no longer with us. We owe it to Jackie Haggerty and the Sandy Hook students and teachers and all gun victim survivors. We owe it to every child and parent in America so that when we say never again, we actually mean it. I'll end with this, which is a few questions from my Republican colleagues. As we head home for the holidays, what will you say to all the families facing an empty seat at their dinner table or one less stocking on the mantle? How can you claim to be the pro-life party, the party of public safety, when you put the interests of the gun lobby before the lives and security of your constituents? How can we possibly claim the mantle of the greatest country in the world if we, as elected officials, simply stand by and let mass killings take place day after day after day on our watch? My hope is that you will think about each and every one of these victims and their families, that you'll come back with renewed purpose and commitment to our most basic mission, which is protecting the innocent lives of our constituents, our neighbors, our loved ones. Let us build upon the bipartisan Safer Communities Act, fully implement universal background checks, pass a national assault weapons ban. Appreciate that the presiding officer has legislation with others to think about how we manufacture these in a way that would create less loss of life. It's an innovative idea, and it's one of many that should be pursued. It would be the greatest gift we could deliver to the American people. During a season of thoughts and prayers, what the American people need, but what they demand, is concrete action. Whether or not we will act will define Congress, and I think indeed American democracy itself, for decades to come. With that, Mr. President, I yield the floor.